Hey everyone, it's Lindsay here, and today I'm going to help you learn how you can keep your audience on track using ground rules in your digital course or online program. So last year, I had a really good friend of mine launch her first online program. She was so excited. Um, the program it was an 8-week course. It consisted of videos and worksheets and all the good things that help make a program very successful. She also had a Facebook group where everybody who enrolled in the course was invited to be a part of and use it as a community forum to get feedback from each other, advice, and support along the way. So she launches her course and things are starting to go really well. And then slowly, a couple weeks in, it started to not go so well. There were some problems. In this vlog, I'm going to help you keep your audience on track using ground rules and helping everyone get the most out of your program. So here's what happened with my friend. A couple weeks into the course, when people were really starting to get settled, she started getting more and more emails from the participants. They needed help, they had questions, they wanted support, they weren't sure what to do. And all of a sudden, what was a group coaching program seemed like she was serving everybody one-on-one. The next thing that happened was that people in the course started promoting their own stuff. So the online forum shifted from being a place of getting help and support to basically a big advertisement. Finally, she noticed that within her online community that people were almost like bickering with each other, and they were giving feedback that wasn't exactly helpful or positive, and in fact kind of bringing some of the people down, and that's why they were emailing her. My friend was feeling pretty frustrated because here she thought she created this like amazing program, successfully sold it, she thought she had a great group of people, and what ended up happening was she had the feeling that maybe she shouldn't even be doing this at all. Maybe she wasn't cut out to be doing this group program type of work, and she didn't know what to do. So she contacted me. When my friend contacted me and started telling me about what was happening in my program, I wanted to check out some of the preliminary materials that she had sent out to her audience. And although I thought her course materials were amazing, she was missing one critical step, and that was creating ground rules. Ground rules are the foundation for how everyone behaves in your course. And while it may seem sort of silly because we're all adults, they are a really critical and important piece of building your program. Keeping learners on track is super important because if people are going off track, they're not focused on your product and learning what you taught them. Using ground rules to keep learners on track is super effective. Here's why. Because when people know what the expectations are, what they're supposed to do, and how they're supposed to behave, it allows them to focus on the task at hand. You see this all the time in elementary school classrooms. As soon as you walk in the classroom, you'll see a list that the teacher and the students made of all the rules of that classroom. Usually they consist of things like being respectful and raising your hand before you talk, or being kind to people and not putting anybody down. We do the same thing with our online programs so that people can know what to expect and adjust their behavior accordingly, and also be able to stay focused on what you're teaching them. I have some suggestions on how you can establish ground rules in your own programs and courses to make sure that you are successful and that everyone stays focused on the task at hand. The first one is to provide discussion prompts. So it's great if you have an online community to do this. I love Facebook groups. Help everyone stay focused by providing a daily prompt for discussion on a piece of the content that you're working on that week. So for example, you may just say something like, what did you find most challenging about this activity? Or what are you having trouble understanding, or what can't you grasp? Give people the opportunity to respond to a question that is relevant to your subject. You can also use a discussion prompt to help promote casual conversation. Try to keep people focused in discussion threads, and that way they're not all over the group posting all sorts of crazy stuff. But, have a prompt on a Friday. What are your weekend plans? What are you going to do? You can even ask people completely off-topic things, but allow them to get to know each other through casual discussion, all while sort of keeping it in the same thread, in the same context, and organized for them. Another thing that I recommend, and it's a ground rule, is making sure that your expectations for communications are clear. So you need to make ground rules as to what people are allowed and not allowed to do, but also where they can get support when they get confused. So if you have a ground rule that says you're not going to answer any emails from the group that the group needs to support the group, you need to have additional resources for people to go to when they need that support. So even if you're not going to answer emails, you can direct people to go to the group itself, and you might also have an FAQ page or some type of help resource to answer most common questions. It's great to set ground rules, but you still need to make sure that you have ways for people to work around them and get the help that they need. My next suggestion for helping you with your ground rules is to provide leadership opportunities for people within your course. You may have a ground rule that there's no self-promotion allowed in the group. However, again, you can help people be able to still be a part of the tribe and sort of add value in a way that is not outright self-promoting, but showing off what people have learned and what they know. So for example, you can have people who have previously completed your program be admins and discussion leaders for the next round of newbies that come in. And this helps your people who've already been in the course establish their skills and what they've learned, and really continually to practice on them. And we all know that when you teach, it elevates your own level of knowledge. So you're letting those people continue to work on your materials and continue to learn by helping other people. And this allows them to have some sort of authority, and people will get to know them and maybe what they do. And while again, it's not self-outright promotion, it is still showing their own individual value, and people in your program will really appreciate that. Finally, the last ground rule that I always have is making sure that people are kind and respectful to each other. And to me, there's really no gray area for this. It's a ground rule, and if you break it, you can be ejected from the program. I just don't have any tolerance for people who try to hide behind a computer screen and speak differently in a computer than they would in real life. Those aren't the people that I want in my tribe. So wrapping up now, the more guidance and direction that you provide the people in the audience, the more value your course is going to be able to provide, because they can stay focused. And this is why establishing your ground rules is so important. Check out my blog for some links on how you can establish your own ground rules, additional resources, things like that. And I would like to know, do you have established ground rules for your program? Have you done this already? And how has it worked out for you? Thanks for letting me know. I can't wait to hear what you say in the comments below. Thanks.